Hey, Natasha with the Day with Ethel vlog. So, you ever fear that you're only allowed to have love, your true love, once in your lifetime? And the fear of losing that love, and then what are you going to do with it, and how do you cope, and how do you survive? Don't Be Afraid by C.A. Harms is the book. It is one of those books that gave me all of the feels that I sobbed. I read this book flying home from work. I had to be out of state for a week, and my good friend Lydia Harbaugh says you need to read this book. So I read it. And I'm on the plane, and I'm sobbing from chapter 1 to chapter 40, like sobbing. And thankfully I was a window aisle seat because this book gave me so many feels. This book was one of those feels. I got to give you this quote because this quote is what, and I wrote it down. You are my adventure, our life, our journey. It's all my adventure. That's this book. Patrick loved Sawyer. He loved her. He loved everything about her, the way she looked, the way she carried herself, but she was always afraid because she never had anybody. She was a foster kid. And, when she finally found love, it was hard for her to let people in because she's never had anybody there for her. And now she has Patrick and his family and, his sister Willow, and he's there. But then he leaves her. And so this whole book is about how he goes through his emotional journey to the end. And what are they going to do? And is Sawyer going to be able to survive? And who's going to be there to take care of her and their child? Is it his best friend, Gage? Gage is a man of honor, and he's there for Patrick. Patrick's his best friend. It's his brother that he never had. And these two Gage takes care of Patrick when he needs him emotionally, mentally, and physically. But he's also there for Sawyer. He shows Sawyer that it's okay to fall apart and cry and just do everything you're not supposed to when you're seeing somebody break down. But then Gage is scared. Is he supposed to be that person? Is he supposed to be there for Sawyer? So then he kind of goes through this his internal life of what's he supposed to do? But then there's Sawyer. Sawyer is a beautiful woman that has more gumption and more strength than most people I know that are going through something like this. She's allowed to fall. She's allowed to cry. But then she's allowed to have an adventure. She's allowed to go have the joy and the journey of everything that Patrick left behind. Not just his soul and is everything else. It's his essence of what he said to her and what he wrote to her. And it's just one of those things that is really a beautiful story. And it's don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of the unknown. Be in the present and live your life daily and enjoy those moments that you have with your loved ones. And that's why I sobbed during this book. And I even texted Lydia and say, I hate you because I loved the love. I love what was left. I loved what was the future. And I loved the journey of Patrick's life, Sawyer's life, and then Gage's life, and how everything came together, and how you have to deal with loss at a young age, but how you survive it and what you do with yourself. And I think that's why I sobbed, and it's beautiful. And C.A. Harms is so new to me, and I think I'm going to be obsessed with her writing because she wrote a beautiful story about heartache, but made it passionate, made it sexy, and made it wholeheartedly a beautiful story. So again, it's in the links. Go get it now, guys. I promise you won't. You'll love it. I know you will. Well, I loved it, so I'm thinking you should love it too.